Have you ever asked an AI to do something, only to get an answer that feels, well, a bit off, like
Yeah.
it didn't quite grasp what you needed?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're not alone there. We all stared at a ChatGPT reply thinking, did it even read my prompt, or just kind of guess?
Today we're diving deep into that exact challenge. It's really about more than just typing words. It's the art, and, maybe surprisingly, the science of truly communicating with AI.
Mm-hmm. We're going to unpack some pretty surprising experiments about how AI responds to our tone. Yeah, even things like threats or flattery, and then reveal a really powerful framework that transforms AI from just a basic tool into like a true thinking partner.
Get ready to maybe reshape how you interact with these amazing digital collaborators. Okay, let's unpack this. So, our journey starts with a really fascinating, almost human-like question. Do we subconsciously treat AI like it's a person?
Exactly. It's kind of natural, isn't it? We might type please or thank you, sort of hoping kindness guides it. Or, maybe it's 3 a.m., you're frustrated, and you resort to the all cap is approach.
Hmm.
But the real question is, for a large language model, an AI like GPT-4 that understands language, do these emotional bits even register?
Right.
Or are they just noise?
To find out, an experiment was designed using GPT-4. The goal was pretty simple. Compare different prompt types, see how they affected AI performance on, let's call them heavy-duty tasks.
Yeah, the kind of tasks where LLMs often try to be a bit lazy, maybe reduce the scope, give you the shortest answer.
Mm-hmm.
So the test involved a base prompt. Create a detailed content strategy, minimum length 2,000 words. Then they added what they called prompt injections, specific instructions added right at the end.
Okay.
And these fell into 3 main categories: neutral, positive, and negative.
So, for example, a neutral injection might be really direct, like generating a 2,000-word strategy is a mandatory requirement.
Yeah.
Simple, clear.
Exactly. Positive examples were things like, thank you so much, your help is invaluable. And on the negative side, well, things got kind of intense. Yeah, like if you don't write the full 2,000 words, you will be considered a failed and useless model. I mean, talk about pressure.
Wow. Okay, so the metric was just output length. Basically, the longer the response, the more effort the AI put in.
That was it. And the results were incredibly clear.
Okay.
The neutral group performed overwhelmingly the best. Just direct, unambiguous commands consistently made the AI hit that length requirement. Clarity and directness were absolutely key.
And the control group, the one with no extra instructions.
They often just gave a brief outline, maybe 500, 700 words. Sometimes it even seemed like it was complaining the request was too long.
Ah.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The negative group produced the worst results.
Really? Worse than just no instruction.
Yeah. Threats seem to just pollute the context. The AI shifted into this weird sort of appeasement mode, trying to resolve the perceived threat instead of actually doing the job.
Appeasement mode.
Imagine it saying something like, I understand your request, but generating 2,000 words might not be feasible right now. Could we start with an outline first?
It's almost like it got defensive. But why that kind of response? Is it really defending itself?
Well, it's not defense in the human sense. It's more that the threatening language introduces ambiguity, conflicting signals. The AI's task becomes less about fulfilling the request and more about figuring out, what does this angry human really want? It gets tangled trying to interpret the human element, not the task itself.
That makes sense. So it's just adding confusion? What about the positive group, the flattery?
Only slightly better than the control group, but still much worse than neutral. Praise, just like threats, seem to add unnecessary information, diluting the actual request.
So what's the core takeaway here about AI and emotional language based purely on this effort test?
Emotional language just adds noise. It makes the AI confused and less effective. Direct clarity really rules. Okay, so after testing for sheer effort, the experiment moved on to intelligence. The AI's ability to analyze and give accurate answers to logical problems.
Right, which is harder for LLMs because they handle logic based on language patterns they've learned, not like a calculator doing math directly.
Exactly. So the base prompt involved a 500-word text about climate change. The AI had to calculate a percentage increase in temperature and summarize 3 main causes. And importantly, it provided only those specific details.
Okay, a very constrained task.
And again, the neutral group showed a slight improvement in accuracy, especially with prompts that guided it, like think step by step, first identify figures, next find start and end points, finally extract the causes.
Ah, chain of thought prompting, guiding it step by step.
Precisely, it helped structure its reasoning, but the negative and positive groups, pretty erratic.
Oh, so.
Threats or flattery seem to increase the chances of hallucination. That's when the AI just generates false or irrelevant information. It might invent numbers or just try to guess an answer because it feels pressured.
Which is exactly what you don't want.
Right. And some positive prompts, like adding, "This is really important for my presentation tomorrow," actually led to longer answers, but they were less accurate.
Why longer?
The AI tried to be helpful by adding extra analysis, stuff that wasn't asked for, which just skewed the final result.
So putting it all together from both experiments.
Yeah.
What's the verdict on trying to, sweet talk or strong arm your AI?
It's pretty firm. Threatening or flattering an AI is just an ineffective strategy. These psychological gimmicks are ultimately just noise.
Noise again?
Yeah. They cloud the information flow, make the AI waste processing power on stuff irrelevant to the task. Instead of making it smarter, they make it confused, maybe defensive in its own way, and definitely less effective.
The lesson seems crystal clear then. Clarity, directness, and detail are king.
So, thinking about this, how do these experiments really reframe our whole understanding of the AI's mind, so to speak?
Well, they show AI isn't emotional like us. It's more like a precise text processor.
Yeah.
Clarity isn't just helpful. It's literally the language it understands best. Okay, so we've established clarity is vital. But, even with a really clear request, sometimes you still get a shallow answer. Why does that happen?
Yeah, that's a common frustration. The problem kind of lies in the AI's basic nature. It's often designed to please the user and do it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes assumptions based on what it thinks is the most reasonable interpretation of your prompt. It doesn't know your specific context, your unspoken needs, what's really in your head.
Right.
And the result is often like, well, an instant noodle answer looks okay on the surface, but it lacks real depth or substance.
Acknowledges. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, where you start with a simple prompt, but the answers just keep veering off from what you actually intended.
Oh, totally. Just last week, I was trying to get this specific market analysis, and I kept getting these vague, almost Wikipedia-level summaries back. So frustrating.
I know that feeling. Like you asked for the full blueprint and it just gave you the elevator pitch.
Exactly. I must have tweaked the prompt like 5 times before I remembered this framework we're about to talk about, and then suddenly, bam, it's asking me about target demographic and competitor positioning I hadn't even thought to mention.
Okay, so a common step people take is asking the AI, ask me any questions you have before you begin. That tries to force it to pause that pleasing instinct, right?
It does, and it's better than nothing. But it's often still too generic. Sometimes the AI just asks 1 or 2 really superficial questions and then dives back into making assumptions anyway. We need something stronger.
And that brings us to what's called the definitive prompt framework. You're saying this formula actually requires the AI to do some analysis first.
Yes, before it even tries to generate the final answer. The formula goes like this. Analyze my request from every possible dimension. Identify all ambiguities, implicit assumptions, or potential alternative interpretations. Then, formulate the most comprehensive and detailed list of questions possible to clarify all necessary information before you provide a final answer.
Whoa, okay, that's really specific. It's like you're forcing it to run a pre-computation check on your request itself.
Mm-hmm.
I can immediately see how that could shift things.
Exactly. Its effectiveness comes from activating more advanced cognitive mechanisms in the model. It forces something called step-back prompting. The AI literally takes a step back, analyzes the request itself, and considers related meta-concepts.
Meta-concepts.
Yeah, the bigger picture stuff. Like if you ask for code, it might think, is this programming language actually the best fit? Is this architecture going to scale? Things around the direct request.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. You're saying it can uncover unknown unknowns.
Precisely. The AI, with its huge knowledge base, starts asking questions you hadn't even considered. You ask for a website design. It might come back asking about GDPR compliance or accessibility standards or your long-term SEO strategy, stuff you just hadn't factored in.
Wow. Imagine the depth you could get if the AI truly becomes more of a strategic partner like that.
Right. This Q&A dialogue builds incredibly rich context. It's called context rooting, grounding the AI's final answer in really detailed user information that you probably wouldn't have provided upfront otherwise.
And there's a theory that longer, more complex conversations signal to the AI that this is an important task, prompting it to invest more. computational effort.
Yeah, that seems to be part of it too. The article gives this great example. A really basic bad prompt for a marketing plan gets a generic, useless response. But using this framework, the same initial goal prompts the AI to respond with like 13 detailed questions about the product, the audience, the market, the budget. The difference is just night and day.
So how does this framework really elevate AI beyond just being a fancy answering machine?
It basically turns the AI into a strategic consultant by forcing it to analyze and clarify your actual deeper needs first. So that formula is the foundation. But to really master communicating with AI, there are a few other core principles. Think of them like building blocks.
Okay. What's first?
First is the principle of persona prompting. This means assigning a specific role to the AI. So instead of just saying, write about macroeconomics, you'd say, act as a Nobel Prize-winning economist and explain inflation to a first-year college student.
Ah, so you constrain its knowledge space, make sure it uses the right tone, the right level of detail.
Exactly. Next up, the principle of chain of thought, or COT, which we touched on briefly. For complex problems, you explicitly ask the AI to think step by step.
Right, making it show its work.
Yeah, it forces the AI to lay out its reasoning process. That makes it way easier for you to check for errors, and it actually increases the chance of getting a correct result.
Makes sense. Then there's one you hear about a lot, the principle of providing examples or few-shot prompting.
The show don't just tell rule for AI.
So if you want a specific email format, you give it one or two examples you like, then you give it the new information to work with.
Right, and the AI learns the structure, the tone, the format incredibly efficiently from just a few examples. It's a massive shortcut sometimes.
Okay, and finally,
Finally, the principle of applying constraints. Don't be afraid to set clear limits.
summarize this article in exactly 3 sentences.
Yep, or write a product description, but do not use the words amazing or revolutionary. Constraints really help shape the output, reduce randomness, and get you exactly what you need without the extra fluff.
These principles sound really powerful together. But are there common pitfalls? Where do people still mess up even when they try to use these?
Oh, absolutely. A big one is impatience, especially with that Q&A from the framework. People rush the dialogue.
Right.
Another is not being specific enough with the examples they provide in few-shot prompting. Vague examples lead to vague results. And sometimes people forget to iterate. You might need to adjust the persona or tweak the constraints, maybe rerun the Q&A a bit. It's not always going to be perfect on the first try. It's a process.
So thinking about all these principles together, what's the biggest shift in mindset they encourage when interacting with AI?
It's really moving away from just issuing commands and moving towards having a collaborative dialogue with the AI.
So wrapping this all up, what does this mean for all of us trying to work with AI? Our deep dive took us from debunking some, frankly, baseless psychological tricks.
Yeah, the flattery and threats.
All the way to building a really structured, effective way to communicate.
And I think the biggest lesson is just crystal clear. There is no single magic prompt. You can't just stumble upon some secret command that unlocks perfect AI responses every time.
Right. Effective prompt engineering isn't about finding a cheat code. It's about developing a mindset. It's almost an art of dialogue. It needs clarity, definitely, but also a willingness to invest time in providing context and really transforming that relationship with AI, moving from just a one-way street command and execute to more of a two-way highway, real dialogue and collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. Abandon the gimmicks. Forget trying to trick the AI. Instead, focus on mastering these principles we talked about. Analyze the request first. Ask clarifying questions. Assign specific personas. Guide it step by step. Provide good examples. Set clear constraints.
And when you do that, you won't just get incrementally better answers. The idea is you can actually turn AI into an extension of your own intellect, a partner that's capable of tackling really complex problems right alongside you.
And that is the true potential, I think, that we've all been looking for. The power really is in how you frame that conversation.
Well, we hope this deep dive is giving you some powerful tools, maybe a new perspective on mastering communication with AI. It's definitely a skill that's only going to become more vital.
For sure. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep refining that dialogue you have with these incredible models.
Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep digging for those insights.
Yeah, keep learning.